Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Welcome back to the T0 to T6 Abyss series. We're here in the T4 Firestorm Abyss for the first time ever. Let's hope it does not go bad, that I've not fit my ship bad or something that's going to cause me to die. Okay, straight off the bat I see that we've got tons of these starving Dynamics which we need to destroy quickly, because looting in this site will not be a nice situation, just because we've not got that big bonus that we've got in the electrical sites. Okay, let's keep a little bit of distance here. There we go, good. Now I want to go for that starving Redmac, because he is going to cause some problems in terms of our capacitor with the starving and also just raw DPS. Okay, now I think we should use our armor repair, could be a good idea. Good, we're getting some armor repair going on. Tons of Triglavians here, not a lot of no ghosters, so that's great to see. But we've got lots of starvers and we need to prioritize the starvers hard here. Let's try keeping a bit of a distance. Oof, doing quite a bit of damage here. This is probably one of the ways which I would be very worried about. Something I would also be very worried about are the ghosters. The ghosters will make me not track so good. So I'll make my way towards the transfer conduit and just keep an... Oh, our drone's taking heavy damage. The Imperial Navy is good in this situation because it is good at tracking. Glances off, unfortunately. So many glances off shots, not so good. Definitely can already feel it's quite a bit harder than the electrical abyss. Need to keep an eye on our cap, and we need to keep an eye on our armor, which we should be repairing now. I've got the Tangler, that's just causing us to have lots of problems with like keeping range and managing the distance we're keeping from these people. Starvers never end here. And those Dynamics outputting a serious amount of damage. And they also have quite a bit of HP as well in the Firestorm sites because of the buffed armor HP. Thankfully it seems to be alright now. Stabilizing. Here, get this Tangler. We're just getting grazing shots, is really annoying. I think it will be a lot easier when we've taken out the Tanglers, because then we'll be able to establish a better transversal vector, because now they're able to orbit us very easily because we're getting hard webbed by 4 Webifiers. But if it was a different case where we were able to keep range a lot easier, then it'll be a lot better. And I'm not going to think about the extraction node, at least in this room right here. Maybe if we get a dead easy room in the end, then I'll do that. But I'm not too interested in that right now. And we can have our drones here. Our drones could be useful actually against these Dynamics. Just the problem was they are taking so much damage before. See, all their armor just disintegrated like that. But they could probably help quite a bit actually. And what type of one is this? Is minus 50% as well, so that's going to make so that we could potentially take even more damage from them actually. But then again, we would have been taking them out quicker as well. It goes both ways. 6 million. Okay, now we don't need to use the armor repair so much, just save a bit of capacitor. Because now we're able to destroy these small guys a lot easier, because now we can keep a little bit better range. Get a better angle on them, so that our pulse laser is able to track properly, because we were previously getting out-tracked quite hard. Not to the degree that we couldn't hit, which was really great, because if that would be the case, then we would have been dead in the water. And the likelihood of that would increase significantly if we were to have a lot of ghosters, which we luckily did not have. Otherwise it would be very dangerous having the starvers, which you need to take out because, you know, they're obviously going to nuke your capacitor sooner or later. But then you've also got the ghosters, which is making everything go so much slower, and you have to decide which one you want to take out first. It would seem safer maybe to go for the starvers, because then you can guarantee not getting nuted out, but then at the same time, you know, it's going to take such a long time to destroy those starvers because of the ghosters making you track bad. Then what you're going to do, then you're going to have to, I mean, you could maybe then be in a situation where you're not even able to destroy them in a reasonable amount of time, and you anyway get nuted out, and you anyway get killed because everything's just ramped up the damage so much. I'm going to start off here with the Scorch. Oh, this is going to be a very easy wave. This uses sleepers, so I don't worry at all about them. The ones I worry about primarily are the The Triglavian waves, actually. The Triglavian, heavy neuting Triglavian waves plus the Ghosters. They also were previously a pretty hard wave for the Zealot, but not in terms of the neuting, but more in terms of the Ghosters and the frigates. The unfortunate thing here is now we have to think about both the Ghosters, making our pulse lasers not as effective, but also the newts. Because this Firestorm fit has a lot less capacitor than the electrical one. Now we're having a little bit of a hard time tracking these FELs. Now we are. It's just that I turned off the web on one of them into the next target because I was getting so ahead of myself, just webbing the next one. But the first one hadn't been destroyed. So we'll make our way towards the extraction node. In this little asteroid here with a cool, cozy little cave. It would be nice to have a little base in this cave here. I know that there is a mission. I don't know if it's a mission or DED site, but one of the first, I think it's a DED site, very low tier, maybe like 2 or 3 out of 10. That I did a very long time ago, where you can have a kind of asteroid base, and there is a sort of a structure you can destroy that has a little bit of goodies. We're not getting neutered, so that's good. Well, not neutered, I mean we're not getting webbed, because I wouldn't like to get webbed here, just because I'm travelling to this extraction node, annoying to have to think about the webs making us go a lot slower. But you know what, we don't even need to go to the extraction node, because guess what, we've actually got an MTU that can take care of that. Never mind. And we're attacking these guys like no problem whatsoever. Yes, those Triglavians just can be pretty damaging, just because the newts, the two weaknesses to this ship are that it can be neutered out because we've only got 1 cap battery. We've got a pretty big amount of capacitor to spare, or I don't know, maybe some people will regard the 13 gigajoules to spare not so much, but it's still decent with everything used. But then you've got only 1 cap battery, so it does make me a little bit more prone, or quite a bit more prone to newts than compared to a Gila with 13 gigajoules to spare, but with dual cap batteries, because newts or the cap batteries give inherent resistance to neutralizers. And then we've also got the ability to be out-tracked by these, or our pulsators can be out-tracked. Just because they're turrets, if we had missiles, then we'll always usually be able to do some damage. I mean, it's questionable then, maybe if you've got the Cerberus with heavy assault missiles, so you can also get out-tracked hard there as well. But the thing is, though, that you, with like a Gila with drones and missiles, you're always going to be doing damage. You've got the light missiles always doing damage. You've got the medium drones that are really beefy always doing damage, so you're never really going to have trouble tracking that. Here we've got pulse lasers, which we have to factor in as well. That's one thing that's great about the Gila, is that it is pretty maintenance free when you get it to work. Right, the tank is usually maintenance free because just an overall tanky ship's got a big buffer by default, so you don't really have to worry too much about wrecking shots. And then it's also got the drones and the missiles, which just by default have a lot of DPS, but also pretty good at avoiding getting out-tracked. The Zealot in many ways is inferior to the Gila, but it also has many benefits as well, especially when you bling it. I find that it can actually be superior to the Gila, at least in electrical sites. Now that's not really maybe the best type of filament to be good in, because the electrical sites are very expensive, but they can be very good there because the capacitor then becomes completely a zero issue, and then you're able to use your pulse lasers, which then instantly do damage. They instantly do damage, and they're able to hit the target straight away. Just like when we press fire, then they hit. Gila has a drone bay. The Gila has drones, and then also has the missiles, which take time to approach and hit the target, while on the other hand Zealot does instant damage. So I find it actually to be really good at doing the T5 electrics or T6 electrics very fast. And just in general, you can have a very high amount of DPS with the Zealot when you bling it hard. Right now, it's not the highest amount of DPS just because we've got 2 damage modules, but you can have 3. You have quite a bit more DPS. Good implants, even more DPS. So those are just things to have in the horizon to upgrade ourselves. And I'll definitely get a lot more focus a lot more on DPS as soon as I got the tank for T5 electrics. Probably when we do T5 electrics initially, we're just going to focus completely on the bioadaptive. And then when we have got the cash, we're then going to slowly but surely upgrade our ship's DPS capabilities. Get implants primarily, but also beef out those heat sinks, because those heat sinks can do with some upgrades. And also, eventually, when we get enough bling, we could do the triple heat sink style. The T6 Zealot that I've got is able to do T6s with triple heatsink. So it's got one less tank module, but it's able to do that because it's got so much blinged implants that it's actually able to tank, even though it's got one less tank module than the T5 Zealot. The bling makes a big difference when you go for the Zealot. It really increases its capabilities. 8 minutes to spare on that one. Okay, open this up, grab this, and grab the Packrat MTU and recall those drones. 8 minutes on the clock here. Next room. So not so much time to spare. Unless we get like a really easy, dead easy, like a Rodiva or maybe a Rogue Drone Wave, then we're not going to really want to stick around much. Okay, this is a pretty easy wave. We've got the FE Altis wave again, similar to the previous one. We'll have our drones go to the extraction nodes, and then we'll make our way towards the origin conduit. So this is just similar strategy to how we usually do here. Take out that Lucid Escort. Also got lots of confusers that cause problems. No particular newts. Great. Love that the Zealot drones can just be spread out really far and just absolutely eradicate the whole room's worth of extraction nodes. I'll take out those confusers because they're going to cause problems in terms of tracking. So we can forget about this escort that we've got causing problems here. And go for the confuser afterwards. Just after we've taken him out, good. And now we go for the Scorch, or not the Scorch, the Conflag. Don't need to really care that I'm getting webbed. But maybe I want to deploy some drones. Just to assist with a little bit with the DPS situation. Put those drones on the second confuser now that the first one is destroyed. And just slowly but surely make our way through the site. Got 8 minutes, so it's still a decent amount of time. But just make sure we don't get carried away, because sometimes when you just don't care about time, then the time can go really fast in these abyss sites, and suddenly you're like, what the heck, there's 3 minutes left. So you have to be careful, don't let your guard down. Let's go towards the origin conduit here. And then deploy the Packrat M2. And stay close to this so that this can pull in everything. So I'm just taking out this last confuser now because this thing is causing a lot of issues in our tracking. Now that we've destroyed... Okay, my Hobgoblin is taking a bit of damage. Let's recall those. They're very quick at getting in the drone bay, which is nice. So if they take damage, it's not like it's going to take the whole site's worth of time to reel it in. Okay, good. So that was very smooth actually in terms of getting the extraction. I was just quickly dispersed my drones the second I went into the site, and then I had them take out them all, and meanwhile while they were taking care of that, my ship instead just went straight for the origin conduit so that I could put my my MTU there straight away. I think that's a very good way to tackle this. We can have an abyssal loot filter in our inventory so we can see everything. We've got 23 million so far. Got the raging electrical filament, which is constituting for the majority of the ISK that we've acquired so far. Can be used for more T4 electric runs, or it could be used to be able to just in general sell it and get more ISK. That's a great thing about these Firestorms, is that we'll be getting a lot of profit here. Both not having to use the electrics for each run, but also being able to sell the expensive filaments too as well. Which are the electrical filaments, they're the most expensive ones usually. Well, I think they are actually. I don't think there's any filament or weather effect that the electricals aren't the most expensive. It might be the T2 or maybe T1s, but I know at least when it comes to tranquil, electrical, chaotic, and also the cataclysmics, the electricals are usually the most expensive. Might be. I think at some point the exotics have been more expensive, so maybe it could be different right now. If I recall correctly, I do think that there were some times where the T5 exotics were more expensive than the T5 electrics, just because they were able to be running quite a bit faster in the Gila because of the kinetic resist reduction. For the Zealot though, that is a perfect situation because it's able to utilize the EM damage to its maximum, or almost to its maximum. It does a bit of thermal damage as well with the pulse lasers. That's also a bit of the unfortunate thing here in the Firestorms, is that we are a little bit slower in terms of our DPS just because we're doing more EM damage than thermal damage, and here it's best to do as much thermal damage as possible, and we do quite a bit of thermal damage, but it's not as much as the EM. Okay, take out that warden there. And now for this Firewatcher here. Great! Ooh, 25 million. Perfect, perfect. And what was that? 900k to enter this site? Really good, really good. So cool to see. It's exciting that we've got new filament to do. It's been such a long time since I switched filaments. I don't know how long ago it was. I think it was 60 or 70 episodes ago we started on the T4 electrics. So we're just going to have to rock and roll here until we get the T5. I don't actually think that the jump to T5 is going to be as slow as it was to T4 electric. We've already got the majority of the modules acquired. It's just a few implants really that we have to get. Okay, so T4 Firestorm went alright. It was a little bit shaky in the Triglavian wave. We've got boosters that we can use that can improve our performance, so that is something. Otherwise, I think I might have to try to focus on maybe keeping a bit of range better, maybe optimizing my flight pattern to be able to apply better to the Triglavians. And also maybe use my drones a bit more, because I think that they do help quite a bit, to be honest. If I make a little bit of a group here, then it can also help a little bit. Maybe DPS 1, DPS 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's enough for now. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.